right, this is an oldie, but well, it's an oldie where I come from.
Hi, this is Harvey Weinstein. He founded the production studio Miramax. The studio published movies like Good Will Hunting, the Scary Movie series, Shakespeare in Love, or Pulp Fiction, which is on spot 7 of the IMDb Top 100 movies of all time. Many interviewed stars said that if you wanted to get into the movie business, you had to pass through Weinstein's office. This is the reason why many people said he was the most powerful man in Hollywood. But this shiny facade didn't last forever. The New York Times published an article about him in 2017. He was accused of harassing women who wanted to become an actress. Many other women reached out to media and started telling their stories. At the end, Weinstein was accused of 19 harassment cases, 3 of which included accusations of rape. The victims included Gwyneth Paltrow, Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Rosanna Arquette, and Uma Thurman. The last 2 played roles in Pulp Fiction, which I already mentioned as one of Miramax productions. Many of the women can be connected to Weinstein's productions, which he used as a leverage against the women. The Weinstein scandal caused him to lose all of its contracts, contact to other artists and politicians. He got divorced and he got sentenced to 23 years in prison just last year. But it didn't just affect him. This also refueled a long-brewing debate if the movie industry was sexist. Even though these cases happened backstage, this incident started a debate if and especially how Hollywood should be reformed. And that's a question I want to work with. So we begin with the question if the movies we have should be changed. I want to keep this answer short by saying yes, probably. It's easy to see that women still often get put in roles in which they can't contribute anything but their appearance, or get put in roles of the weak woman that needs to be saved. This is something that we obviously have to change. But to keep it even, there are cases which are often debated. For example, retold tales or movies which want to keep a specific style. A good example is the movie Django Unchained, in which Django's wife Brunhilde got sold as a slave and the freed slave Django wants to free her, which is a combination of the Western Django from 1966 and the German tragedy of Siegfried and Brunhilde. Another problem we encounter is that movies often take years to be produced, sometimes even decades. This makes it hard to say accurately what values and messages are important for the producers. A better way to find this out is looking at TV shows. Those are extremely close to movies nowadays and cost less time to produce. Looking at those reveals that many modern movements already reached the production studios, and shows like Modern Family or BoJack Horseman already dedicated themselves to portray these, while others implement those trends in their shows because the viewers prevent them from doing otherwise. Weak women nearly completely vanished from modern TV. On the other hand, men portrayed as lazy, ignorant, smeary guys are still a thing, but then again, nobody really cares.
Here are 2 pictures. One is your locker, the other is a garbage dump in the Philippines. Can you tell which is which?
That one's the dump.
They're both your locker.
God, I should have guessed that. He's good.
The only thing those shows have to prove is their timelessness. Because if the viewers get annoyed or bored of shows like this, it could end the trend before it even reaches the big movie studios. Now that we got that out of the way, we take a look at 3 possible solutions to the problem. In advance, I'm gonna say that none of these are scientific or tested in a neutral way. These solutions got used in the past and are a topic among movie fans. The first solution is really obvious. It's basically just putting women into roles which also work for men, or roles close to the ones men played.
Are there any women here today? Very well.
This possible solution found a lot of use in movies from the last few years. Examples are Doctor Who, Star Wars, The Ghostbusters, Ocean's 8 or Incredibles 2. As I said, this solution is simple and the idea itself works. But there are 2 major problems. One of which is that there are mostly fans involved, which have an expectation towards their fandom. This doesn't mean that those fandoms are against all women. For example, the first female doctor after 12 male doctors had a pretty good start, and even though the competition was strong and the expectations high, did a great job in getting the fans on their side. A contrast is the Ghostbusters movie from 2016. Fans hated it, and the concept of other Ghostbusters than the original four was completely nonsense. These examples show the solution can work, but if they wanted to do it this way, they have to find a plausible way to explain the applied changes, and they have to fulfill the standards that were established beforehand. Also, I don't know what Ocean's 8 tried to do, but stealing a bracelet isn't something that helps getting rid of stereotypes.
You're a little confused, but he got the spirit.
The second solution is the Bechdel test. Some of you may have already heard of it. It was invented by the US-American cartoon artist Alison Bechdel in 1985. The test has 3 questions, which have to be answered positive for a movie to pass. The 3 questions are: does the movie have 2 female roles with a name? Do these 2 females talk to each other? And do they talk about something else than men? But this also has 2 major flaws. One of which is that it only goes one way, which fitted a few years ago, but we had pretty mixed movie culture in the last few years and nobody knows what comes next, so it would be pretty one-sided to only apply it for women. The other problem is that it sets clear rules for movies, which on one hand could harm the quality of the movie and on the other hand could prevent future movies to publish, which have the potential of becoming legendary. After all, 8 of the IMDb top 10 movies don't pass the test. The only 2 are on spot 8, Schindler's List, and on spot 9, Inception. The top 1, The Shawshank Redemption, which I definitely recommend you to watch if you haven't already, doesn't even pass 1 question of the test.
Can't say I approve of this, but I suppose exceptions can be made.
The last possible solution is my personal favorite, even though it is used the least. The first one to use it was the movie director Ridley Scott in his movie Alien. He simply didn't plant the gender of the character while writing the script. This led to Sigourney Weaver getting the role of the protagonist Ripley, one of the most emancipated female characters in the movie history. It is also very simple and you can't unconsciously put prejudice in the script. But we again encounter a problem with this solution. There are characters that require a specific sex, else some scenes of the movie wouldn't make sense. A good example is the movie Fight Club. The protagonist of the movie wants to cure his sleeping disease by visiting testicular cancer support groups and receiving their support through lying. I guess you can see why this would be weird if he was a woman.
Testicular cancer should be no contest, I think.
Well, technically, I have more of a right to be there than you. You still have your balls.
I'm kidding.
I don't know. Am I?
At the end, I can say that it's mainly up to Hollywood how they portray different genders. As someone who grew up with the shows of Matt Groening, I never really got the concept of a weak woman in TV, but I'm not representative for everybody. Shows like Peaky Blinders already show that you don't need stereotypes for a show to work. Movies obviously take longer to be produced and changes happen too slow, but you can help change the future of movies and shows. Watch productions which portray what you think is the right mindset, rate them and share your experience with others. And maybe, but just maybe, even buy a DVD every once in a while to support your favorite artist. Thanks for your attention.
I'm not in the mood today. Let's go to the ballroom.
Hallelujah!